Night's game in Atlanta. Milwaukee currently fourth in the East behind Cleveland, Boston, and New York. And listen to this. So we had Gilbert Arenas on First Take on Friday. He said the biggest threat to the Celtics is Milwaukee. Listen for yourself.
Do you have anybody beating Boston?
I think the Bucks. If Bucks can match up with the
Milwaukee Bucks. Mm-hmm. So you think the Milwaukee Bucks are a greater threat to Boston than Cleveland?
Yeah, they have a Giannis. He's the only one that can capitalize on those bad shooting nights that Boston will have. And usually it's about, if there's 7 games, they're going to have at least 3 horrible nights. They're going to have 2 great ones and then an average one. And I think if they try that against, if that's a matchup, I think the Bucks can upset them.
All right. Gilbert Arenas with the hot take there has the Bucks flying under the radar. Let me ask you this, Big Perk. Hey, how we feeling? Perk, you got me? There he is. Are we sleeping, Perk? Are we sleeping on Giannis and the Bucks? I don't know if Perk has us. We'll get those technical difficulties.
I got you now, Molly.
Oh,
I got you now.
You do? Okay, did you?
For a minute. Yeah,
okay.
I lost you.
Let me just ask you. I'll ask you one more time.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Are we sleeping on Giannis and the Bucks? Because Gilbert Arenas thinks they're the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics.
Oh, look, they're not the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the biggest threat. Now, I will say this. The Boston Celtics are going to win the NBA championship. There's no team out there that can compete or, have the personnel or experience to beat them in a 7-game series. Let's get that out the way right now. Now, we are sleeping on the Milwaukee Bucks, though, right? Like, when we talk about the top dogs in the Eastern Conference, the only teams I've been hearing of late is the Celtics, rightfully so, the Cavs, and the New York Knicks. Well, the Milwaukee Bucks actually Beyonce at the trade deadline. They upgraded. When they went out and got Kyle Kuzma from the Wizards, I thought that was a great move by them. Kyle Kuzma is a guy that has championship experience. He won the championship with the Lakers. He can be that third option to Dame and Giannis. They also went out and got Kevin Porter Jr. from the Clippers to bring in another guy that could come in off the bench, not only to create for himself, but also create for others. I love what I've been seeing from Brook Lopez of late. And think about this. They've been winning games lately without Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis will be back. I'm not saying that they're going to win the East. I still think Boston is going to win the championship. But I will say they are a real threat to the Knicks and the Cavs. So let's not sleep in that area. And I wouldn't be surprised if they happen to move up just a little bit to that third spot. That if they move to that third spot, they could possibly get to the conference finals.
No, I disagree with Gil. Look, I understand what Giannis is. You got a guy like Dame that can get hot and shoot, and we know what he represents. But they're not a bigger threat to the Celtics than the Cavaliers. With Donovan Mitchell playing the way he is, with the emergence of Evan Mobley, they go too big. They go 6'10", 6'11". They can defend. They can rebound. You got Darius Garland that can go off on a given night. And Andre Hunter, Ty Jerome. Nah, bro. It's not even close who's the bigger threat to the Boston Celtics. Are we sure that the Milwaukee Bucks can beat the Knicks? And the Knicks leaves a lot to be desired over the last 2 weeks of the season, Perk. So for me, it's not even close. The team that can cause the Boston Celtics the most problems are the Cleveland Cavaliers, because we know what Donovan Mitchell is. We've seen him go haywire and give you 50 pieces in the postseason. We see what Evan Mobley, we see the emergence. A guy that can do it on both ends of the court. We know, Jared Allen is very efficient. You don't have to run plays for him. He's going to get it up the rim, put back. He's a lob threat. Darius Garland. Nah, the Cavaliers are the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics. And I understand what Milwaukee is. I understand Dame. I love Giannis. But they're not a bigger threat to the Celtics than the Cavaliers. Absolutely not.
Listen, even as me, as a casual fan of the game of basketball, who is still learning, who's still getting better and well-versed at it and learning and understanding the intricacies of the game, even I know better than that, that the Cavs are the biggest threat to the Cavs are the biggest threat
to the Boston Celtics.
To the Boston Celtics.
Boston.
On the other hand, as good as the Bucks have gotten, especially with the trade deadline, what they've done, we know who Giannis is. We know what Dame Lillard could do and all the upgrades that they made at the trade deadline, but it's still not a threat. Perk, you said, based on what you see, knowing through experience, the championship experience and time and playing together as one, the Celtics are probably going to win the NBA championship again. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. They've won 8 of their last 11, to your point, Perk, without Bobby Portis. Yep. I mean, and we know what he's good for, too, so.
Even winning your 8 of the last 11, winning your games, Perk, they still not playing the Boston Celtics.
They're not. Look, Chad, listen to me. The Boston Celtics are winning the championship this year. If they're healthy, they're going to win the championship. Let me correct myself. The Milwaukee Bucks stay in that stay or get that fourth or fifth seed, they could go to the conference finals and meet up with Boston. This is what I'm trying to explain to y'all. Mm-hmm. We talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and much props to them because they have been balling this offseason. But we have seen a Donovan Mitchell-led team have a drop-off in the postseason. Evan Mobley, he still have something to prove in the offseason. Both of you guys know this in sports, real quick. Both of you guys know this in sports. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the postseason, that playbook, that scouting report, it gets a little thicker. That shoot around in practices gets a little longer. I need to see what Darius Garland and Evan Mobley does in that situation.
All right. We got to go, guys. Perk?
Well, look, let me say this, Molly. Mm-hmm. I believe that SGA is the best perimeter player in the NBA, okay? Not only because of the 30-plus that he's averaging on 50-plus percentage shooting from the field, but he gets it done on both ends of the floor, right? He's second in the league in steals. His team is ranked number 1 defensively, damn near in every category because he's the head of the snake. And when you have a team like this that's led by a young superstar that holds himself accountable, that's reliable, that's available, that's a guy that's a true professional and does it on a night-to-night basis, I will give him that. Now, let's have a bigger conversation here. Are we sure that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league? Are we sure about that? Because I would have to argue, and I would have to say right now, today, that LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. Here's why I said the best player in the NBA gets it done on both ends of the floor. LeBron James is getting it done at the age of 40 on both ends of the floor at a high level. He could guard 1 through 5 defensively. Offensively, we know what he could do. Damn it, he could damn near play 1 through 5. I would argue if they need him to play the center position, he's the second best center in the Western Conference behind Nikola Jokic, especially with Anthony Davis and Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively being out for the Dallas Mavericks. What LeBron James is doing at a high level on both ends of the floor still to this day,